On YouTube, A Crown, the Three Range Bros council member, is the creator of The Author's Crown. These are his stories.
Hello everyone, welcome to The Author's Crown. My name is A Crown. In this channel I will present to you stories written by both myself and occasionally stories written by good friends of mine. So without further ado, let's get this show started. Today's story is a crossover between Pokémon and Digimon. So sit back and enjoy Pokémon X Digimon. I walked out into the sunlight after just finishing a gym battle. I realized my Pokemon needed to be healed, so I walked over to the nearest Pokemon Center. After walking in and up to the counter, Nurse Joy greeted me with the typical, "Welcome to the Pokemon Center, where we will heal your Pokemon back to full health. Would you like me to take your Pokemon?" I answer, "Yes." She takes my Pokeballs and places them in the healing machine. It beeps, and after a few seconds, she hands them back and says, "Your Pokemon are now healed. We hope to see you again." I looked over at an old PC sitting in the corner. I asked her, "How old is that PC?" She responds, "Oh, it's out of date. No one has used that thing in years." I decided to walk over and take a look at it. I booted up and cursored over the Pokemon storage box. I looked through all the Pokemon stored in it. As I'm scrolling through, the screen begins to glitch. It stops and I say, "Huh? That was weird." I continue scrolling through all the Pokemon, such as Drifloon, Starry, before stopping on Rotom. While examining the Rotom, the screen again begins to glitch. This time it's different. The screen doesn't revert back. It's just stuck, as it crackles with electricity. I call over to Joy and say, "Nurse Joy, I think something's wrong with the PC." I look over and become really freaked out when I see her just repeating, "Welcome to the Pokemon Center." And the electricity from the computer spreads into the air. Everything around me starts to glitch like the computer screen. I run outside just to see that everything has started glitching in the exact same way. Shocked, I stumble back against the Pokemon Center, but I quickly find out it's not there and a strange portal is in its place. I scream as I fall into it, surrounded by glowing energy. Next thing I know, I'm falling through darkness, surrounded by strange-looking lines of code, and then I land on a platform, and I hear a very robotic, strange voice say,
"Welcome to the digital world, Joe."
I look around. On one side, I see a world of Pokemon and admire it for a moment. I then turn around and see a different world, but still with Pokemon. I watch it for a moment, taken in by the strange view. I then look down and see a world with talking monsters. I stare at it, listening to the world as I did with the other two. The strange voice then echoes,
"Take your steps forward, Joe. Your destiny awaits you."
I listen, and with a bit of caution, I begin walking forward. As I reach the edge, another portal appears. This one pulls me in, and I vanish in a flash of light. I then fall to the ground. I stand up very confused, looking around, and I ask aloud, "What the heck is this place?" I hear rustling in the bushes. Being used to wild Pokemon in the tall grass, I ready myself with a Pokeball. A small blue and white creature hops out and says, "Hello there." My eyes roll back, showing the whites as I stutter, "Whoa, what? A talking Pokemon? What's a Pokemon?" "My name is Vmon," it says. I then say, "Ooh, I can't wait to catch a talking Pokemon." I throw a Pokeball from my belt and say, "Luxray, go!" In a flash, my blue and black electric Pokemon appears. I say, "Luxray, use Thunder Wave." It hits Vmon with a bolt of lightning combined with a wave of static. Vmon falls to the ground and says, "Ow! That hurt. Why are you attacking me?" I take a Pokeball and throw it. It hits Vmon and does absolutely nothing as it falls to the ground. In shock, I say, "What? I've never seen a Pokeball do something like that. It should have at least tried to catch the Pokemon." Vmon stands up, brushing himself off, and says, "I'm not a Pokemon, I told you. I'm a Digimon." "What the heck are you doing?" a voice says. I turn to look at the source, and I'm tackled to the ground by a guy that looks maybe around my age. I was just trying to catch the Pokemon, I say. I didn't know it had a trainer, I say as he tries to hit me. He looks in confusion as he gets up and says, Pokemon? Dude, you must have lost it. He's a Digimon and I'm not his trainer. We're partners. A young lady walks up alongside a cat with gloves and helps me up, asking, Are you okay? I brush myself off and say, Yeah, I'm just really confused. Understandably so. My name's Kari. What's yours? I respond, Joe. She giggles and says, Should be easy to remember. I have a friend named Joe. She then begins explaining the concept of the Digimon and the digital world and introduces the young man as Davis and her partner Digimon Gatomon. After she does, I start explaining everything that happened at the Pokemon Center with the computer. Wow, a world where you capture and use monsters like tools? That sounds terrible, Davis says. It's really not. It's more like a partnership. I take care of them and have bonded with them. Davis scoffs and Kari says, So it sounds like this Rotom thing may have caused it. Yeah, but nothing like this has ever happened before, I reply. Well, we were both at home when our computers sucked us in. It didn't pull any of our other friends in. It's strange to us too, Kari says. I think for a moment and say, If the Rotom did cause this, maybe it's here and they pulled you in too. It's possible. Our best bet would be to go where that strange energy is emanating from in the middle of the island, Gatomon says as she points to the sky where a strange cluster of energy is waving outwards. I turn to Vmon and Davis and say, I'm really sorry, I had no idea. Vmon smiles and says, It's okay, I can't blame you too much. Davis says, Okay, I guess Vmon is right, but I'm still going to keep an eye on you. Fair enough, I say and hold my hand out. He shakes my hand and says, Let's go fight a Pokemon? A short time later, Kari, Davis, the Digimon, and I are walking through the woods. Vmon says, I hear something. Out of the woods jumps a strange green-skinned creature. It says, This is my territory. Time for you to go. Davis says, Ogremon. Me and Vmon got this. You ready, buddy? Vmon responds, You betcha, Davis. Davis holds out a small device. He is startled when he notices a strange creature on the screen. He shows it to me and says, I didn't notice this until now. Is this that thing you were talking about? I recognize it instantly and says, Yeah, that's Rotom. I wonder how come it's showing on my Digivice. Kari pulls out hers as well and it beeps and a voice says,
Rotom Vice now online.
All stunned, they say, Rotom Vice? Vmon starts to glow and I hear Vmon say, Vmon Digivolve too? X Vmon! The light dissipates and Vmon is changed into a similar form, but with an X on his chest and wings. He charges at Ogremon and blocks his clubbing attack. Kari says, It's really weird. It's like that thing is combining with the digital world's code. Is that bad? I ask. I don't know, but it can't be good, she responds. As I watch X-Vmon and Ogremon fight, I ask Kari, So the Rotom evolution, is it permanent like with Pokemon? She turns to me and says, Digivolution. Yeah, that. Sorry, still getting used to your world's ways and the whole Rotom combining thing, I respond. It's okay, I get it. But to answer your question, yes and no. In the wild, I've seen it be permanent, but with us and our partner Digimon, they revert back. Wow, that's really cool, but it's still kind of freaky, I say. She replies, It's had its fair share of trouble from evil Digimon trying to rule it like Devimon and Myotismon. But luckily, there's been Digidestined like my brother Ty and Davis and all of our friends. A few moments later, Ogremon is lying unconscious and X-Vmon reverts back to Vmon. Davis walks up smugly saying, Woo! We still got it! Kari rolls her eyes and keeps walking alongside Gatomon. I shrug and follow them and Davis walks behind us saying, What did I say? Behind him, Vmon follows behind, trying to catch up, saying, Wait for me! I did just Digivolve and fight an ugly Ogremon. Meanwhile, unknowingly from afar, near the amassing energy, a pair of eyes watches us closely. Our group gets close to the center of the island, and finally, we find ourselves under the amassing energy. I got a bad feeling about this, Davis, Vemon says as the sight of the energy makes him nervous. Davis replies, Vemon, don't worry, buddy. Together, we'll beat anything in our way. Kari finds some ruins nearby and calls for Davis, Vemon, and I. The three of us run over to join Kari and Gatomon. As they look at the ruins, they see a massive ball of light and energy. Kari asks, You all ready? Gatomon says, I'm with you, Kari. Davis and Vemon say, We're always ready, they say as they're startled by a strange noise. I pull a Pokeball from my bag and keep it ready, saying, I'm ready too. Kari nods and leads us in. We all nervously creep through it towards the center, examining the tunnel-like hallway of the ruins. As we get closer, the light begins to burn brighter, and the sound, which is like buzzing, gets louder. We all approach an opening and step out of it. As we look, we see sitting there, dead center of the strange energy waves, Rotom. I step forward and say, Rotom, remember me? I captured you. It's time for you to come with me so we can go back home. We don't belong here. The Rotom turned towards me and says,
Rotom is a free being now. No longer will I serve a trainer. I have started to become one with this world, and I will lead into a new era.
Well, at least you got your talking Pokemon, Vemon says. Kari, Davis, Gatomon, and I look at Vemon sternly, and he says, Sorry, still kind of sour about getting a ball thrown in my head. I throw the empty Pokeball at Rotom, saying, Here it goes. But the Pokeball stops midair and disintegrates. Well, that didn't work. Anybody else got any ideas? I say as I look at Kari and Davis. They look at each other and nod, saying, Just one. They pull out their Digivices, and their partner Digimon begin to glow, and I hear, Gatomon Digivolve too? Angelwoman, Vemon Armor Digivolve too? Flamedramon, the Fire of Courage. After the light dissipates, Flamedramon and Angelwoman prepare to charge at Rotom. It speaks up and says,
You do not face me alone.
And in a flash of light, two shapes appear. One, a large, black, horned dog I recognize as Houndoom, and the other, a purple, strange-shaped one I don't recognize as well. I pull out my Pokédex, but it doesn't work. I think for a moment, and then I turn to Kari and say, Can I see your Digivice? She says, Sure, I guess. She hands it to me, and I hold it up, and it beeps and scans the Pokemon. It speaks in the same strange voice.
Gengar, a shadow Pokemon. It is the final evolved form of Ghastly. To steal the life of its prey, it slips into the prey's shadows and silently waits for an opportunity.
Oh, that's right. That's one of the original 151 from the Kanto region, I say. I then point it towards Houndoom, and it says,
Houndoom, the dark Pokemon, the evolved final form of Houndour. If you are burned by the flames it shoots from its mouth, the pain will never go away.
I give Kari back her Digivice and say, Well, 3-on-3. I guess it's a fair fight then. As I pull a Pokeball from my belt, I throw it and say, Go, Empoleon! Let's take down that Houndoom. After a flash of light, my Empoleon appears and is ready for a fight. I yell, Empoleon, use Aqua Jet! It acknowledges me and fires a blast of water at Houndoom, which hits it and knocks it to the ground, but the Houndoom gets back up. Meanwhile, Angelwoman charges up and yells out, Celestial Arrow! She fires it at Gengar. It hits dead on, and Gengar vanishes. Angelwoman looks around and says, That was too easy. Kari looks at Angelwoman's shadow and notices it looks odd. She yells out, Angelwoman, look out! Gengar leaps out of Angelwoman's shadow and attacks with a Shadow Ball. Angelwoman yells as it hits her, and she falls to the ground, reverting back to Gatomon. Maybe we should try an Armor Digivolution, Kari says. Gatomon stands and says, Worth a shot. In another flash of light, Gatomon says, Gatomon Armor Digivolve too? Nefertimon, the Angel of Light. Gatomon's winged cat-like form flies out of the light and shouts, Rosetta Stone! As she summons a giant monolith that fires beams of light at Gengar. Empoleon and Nefertimon face off with their opponents. Flamedramon charges towards Rotom and launches fireballs from its hands, yelling, "Fire rockets!" It vanishes before it reaches Rotom. Flamedramon fires another volley, and each one vanishing before it hits. Flamedramon hops back and says, "Maybe we should try another form." "Good idea." Vmon reverts back and glows again, saying, "Vmon Armor Digivolve 2? Raydramon, the Storm of Courage." The now black armored Digivon yells, "Blue Thunder," launches a lightning blast directly at Rotom. This attack does nothing either. Raydramon is soon joined by Nefertimon and Empoleon. "Okay, guys, let's synchronize our attacks. Rosetta Stone, Blue Thunder, Empoleon, use Hydro Cannon." All three attacks hit simultaneously, breaking past Rotom's defenses and striking it dead on, knocking it to the ground. As we look at the fainted Rotom, we see nothing has changed. Kari turns to me and says, "Hey, try one of your Pokeball things." "Oh, good idea," I say as I reach into my bag and pull out a Master Ball. I look at it and say, "If this doesn't work, nothing will. Here it goes." I throw it, and it hits the Rotom, and the Pokemon turns to a beam of light and is absorbed into the ball. The ball begins to rock back and forth, and then the glitching appears again around it, and the ground begins to rock back and forth, just like the Pokeball. Davis says, "Whoa, what's happening?" I respond, "I don't know, but I hope the Master Ball works." After a few minutes of the ground shaking and glitching and energy all around, the ball and ground both stop. It clicks as the glitch rolling around increases. Then in the ball's place, a portal appears and sucks the Master Ball in. I call back Empoleon and look at the others. I say, "I guess maybe that's my way home." Kari smiles and gives me a hug, saying, "You better go. It was nice to get to know you, Joe." I respond, "Thanks, Kari. You too." I then turn towards Davis and say, "Well, we may not have gotten along, but I won't forget you." I hold out my hand for him to shake. He looks at it and then flashes a smug smile, saying, "Same here. Good luck. I hope you get home." I turn towards the portal and look back at them, flashing a goodbye gesture before entering the portal. And that's the story for today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you like what you heard today, stay tuned for some awesome things to check out on the Zeo to Hero Network. And thank you for listening to The Author's Crown. What the hell, Grayson? I don't want to do this.
Come on, Roy. Don't be a jerk.
Fine. My name is Roy Harper, or you might know me as Arsenal. If you're interested in an original story set in the DC and Marvel universes, you need to go to Tiger Tales and listen to War Against Gotham.
And his other channels?
Shut up, Grayson. I'm getting to it. You may also want to go check out his other channels. There, you happy dick.
You could have at least done it with a little bit more enthusiasm.
No, I did it. Now I'm going home. Insignificant humans. My name is Golda, servant of the great and powerful Empress, Rita Repulsa. She has commanded me to tell you to go listen to the adaptation of Boom Comics' Power Rangers on Nerds Throw Comics. Now, do as she commands, or be destroyed.